Hi. Today, we will learn about string conversion rules in JavaScript. Here I have a simple HTML file. I have written two rules regarding the string conversion. Rule number 1 says that, if an expression starts with a string and is followed by a plus sign, then we have to just convert the entire expression into strings and join them or concatenate them. And rule number 2 says that, if an expression has any mathematical operator other than the plus sign, then we have to perform a mathematical operation on that expression. You will understand these rules in detail when we see some examples. So here, I have a script tag inside which I have written the JavaScript. We have used the console.log function many times, and inside each function, we have various kinds of expressions. Let's see what their outputs can be. So instead of running this page in a browser and then showing the output in the console, I'm directly writing the output here in the comments. Okay, let's see one by one. The output of the first expression is a string, 10. It is not number 10, mind you. It is a string 1 and 0. Okay, so how did we get this output? See, our expression starts with a string. And then it is followed by a plus sign. So the rule number 1 gets applied here. We have to convert everything in this expression into a string and then just join them. So, this 1 and 0 get converted into a string. So we will have an empty string, plus 1 string, plus 0 string. And therefore, we get this output. String 10. Okay. Let's see the next one. The output is -1. It is a number, by the way, not a string. How did we get this output? See, the expression starts with a string. But it is followed by a minus sign. So the rule number 2 gets applied here. We have to perform a mathematical operation on this expression. So here, first we have to convert everything into a number and then do the math. So, an empty string gets converted into 0. So the expression becomes 0 minus 1 plus 0. Which is equal to -1. Okay. Next. The output is 1. It is a number. How do we get this output? See, the expression does not start with a string this time. It starts with a Boolean value. So rule number 1 cannot be applied here. Remember one thing, if rule number 1 cannot be applied, then that means we shall apply rule number 2. So we have to perform a mathematical operation here. But first, everything needs to be converted into numbers. True when converted into a number, it becomes 1. And false when converted into a number, it becomes 0. So the expression becomes 1 plus 0. Which is equal to 1. Okay. Next. The output is 2, which is a number. How do we get this output? See, the expression does not start with a string, so rule number 1 does not come into the picture. So we will straightaway use rule number 2. We have to apply a mathematical operation here. So everything first needs to be converted to a number. This string 3 gets converted to number 3. So the expression becomes 6 divided by 3. Which is 2. Okay. Next. The output is 6, which is a number. But why? The expression starts with a string. But it is followed by a multiplication sign. So we have to apply rule number 2. Everything in this expression needs to be converted into a number. So this expression becomes 2 multiplied by 3. Which is 6. Okay. Next. The output is 9 pixels. It is a string. But how? See, the expression does not start with a string. So first, we will do a normal mathematical operation. 4 plus 5 is 9. So the expression becomes 9 plus string px. Px means pixels. Now remember another rule. If a number is getting added to a string, then we follow rule number 1. We will convert everything into a string and then join them. So the number 9 becomes string 9. And then we just join string 9 and string px. So we get this output. Okay. Next. The output is $45. It is a string. But how? The expression starts with a string. So we will use rule number 1. Everything needs to be converted to a string first. So, numbers 4 and 5 are converted to strings 4 and 5. And then we just join all the strings. So we get the output, $45. Okay. Next. The output is 2. It is a number. But how? The expression starts with a string. But it is followed by a minus sign. So we will use rule number 2 here. We have to perform a mathematical operation on this expression. First, everything needs to be converted to numbers. So the string 4 becomes number 4. And the expression becomes 4 minus 2. Which is 2. Okay. Next. The output is nan, which means not a number. But why? The expression starts with a string, but it is followed by a minus sign. So we will apply rule number 2. We have to perform a mathematical operation here. So first, everything needs to be converted into numbers. But we cannot convert these 4 pixels into a number. It will give us nan output. So the expression becomes nan minus 2. Which is nan. Okay. Next. The output is, space, minus 9, space, 5. But how? See, the expression starts with a string. And is followed by a plus sign. So we will use rule number 1 here. First, everything gets converted to a string. And then join them. So the expression becomes like, space, minus 9, space, 5. And that's what we get as an output. Okay. Next. The output is minus 14. It is a number. But how? The expression starts with a string, but it is followed by a minus sign. So we will use rule number 2 here. We have to do a mathematical operation. First, we convert everything into numbers. So this string, space, minus 9, space, it gets converted into a number. For that, first, these spaces get removed. So it becomes simple minus 9. So the expression becomes, minus 9, minus 5. Which is equal to minus 14. Okay, next. The output is 1. It is a number. How? The expression starts with a null. It is not a string. So we will use rule number 2. We have to do a mathematical operation. So null gets converted to 0. And 0 plus 1 is 1. Okay. Next. Similarly here, undefined gets converted to nan. So, nan plus 1 is, nan. And finally, the output is minus 2. It is a number. How? The expression starts with a string, but it is followed by a minus sign. So we will use rule number 2. We have to perform a mathematical operation. So this string, which has 2 escape sequences, gets converted into a number. Escape sequences, when converted into a number, give 0 output. So the expression becomes 0 minus 2. Which is equal to minus 2. Okay. So, I hope you have understood the rules and techniques regarding string conversion in JavaScript programming language. Thanks for watching.